Have you ever seen someone pouring money into the stock market while at the same time they're completely ignoring a massive credit card bill? It's a surprisingly common mistake. We all get so excited to jump straight to the wealth building part, but when we do that, we often end up building our entire financial house on a foundation of, well, quicksand. So today, we're going to break down the exact step-by-step order to invest your money so you can maximize your returns and, more importantly, avoid those really costly errors. Okay, let's just dive right into this, because this analogy really says it all. Investing while you're carrying high-interest debt is exactly like this. You can keep pouring money, that's your investments, into the top of the bucket, but if you've got these huge financial leaks, you're just never going to see it fill up. The whole point is to patch the holes first. It's as simple as that. And here's the size of one of those massive holes we're talking about. The average interest rate on credit card debt is a staggering 22%. Just think about that. That is a guaranteed 22% headwind you are fighting against every single day. It is almost impossible for any reasonable investment to consistently beat that kind of guaranteed loss. And to make matters even worse, while people are battling that kind of high-interest debt, their financial safety net is shockingly small. The median emergency fund in America is just $500. I mean, that's not even enough to cover a major car repair, right? This combination of high debt and super low savings, that is the core problem we have to solve before we even think about investing. So how do we fix this? Well, we start by building a proper foundation. You would never put expensive furniture in a house with a cracked foundation, and the exact same logic applies to your finances. This first step is all about creating real stability. And that foundation, it really rests on two essential pillars. First, we got to build an emergency fund to handle life's little surprises. And second, we need to systematically eliminate that high-interest debt that's been draining all of our resources. So let's look at each one. An emergency fund is for so much more than just emergencies. Its real power is actually psychological. It acts as a buffer that stops you from making panicked, terrible decisions, like selling all your investments when the market is down or taking on even more high-interest debt just because your car breaks down. Now, saving 3 to 6 months of expenses can feel, well, totally overwhelming. So let's break it down into manageable steps. Your very first goal is to save $1,000 as fast as you possibly can. This will cover most of those small emergencies. Then you're going to build that up to 1 full month of your living expenses, and from there, you can work your way up to 3 months. This approach makes a huge goal feel actually achievable. So, once you have that initial emergency fund, it's time to attack pillar number 2. And this quote just illustrates the urgency perfectly. High interest debt isn't just a nuisance. It's a destructive force in your financial life. It is actively working against you, compounding every single day. So what's the most effective way to wipe it out? It's called the debt avalanche. This method is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You just pay the minimum on all your debts to stay current, but then you focus all of your extra firepower on the debt with the absolute highest interest rate. Mathematically, this is the fastest and the cheapest way to become debt-free, period. Okay, so we've established the rule, pay off debt before you invest. But now we're going to talk about the one crucial exception to that rule. Because there is a moment where investing just a little bit actually makes more sense, even if you still have some debt. Just think about this for a second. In a world of market volatility and totally uncertain returns, where could you possibly find a guaranteed 100% gain on your money instantly? Well, the answer is probably waiting for you right at your job. It's your employer's 401k match. I mean, look at this. The math is so simple, but it is so powerful. Paying off a 22% credit card is great. It's like earning a 22% return. But getting your employer's dollar-for-dollar match is a guaranteed 100% return on your money, immediately. The math is undeniable. You should always contribute just enough to get the full employer match. It's literally free money. Don't leave it on the table. Okay, once your foundation is solid and you're getting your free money, we enter the next phase, what I like to call the tax optimization zone. This is where we start building wealth seriously by using these powerful accounts that shield our money from taxes, letting it grow so much faster. So, after securing your match, where should your next dollar go? Well, surprisingly, it's often an IRA. That's an individual retirement account, not more into your 401k. And the reason is simple. It's freedom. An IRA gives you this huge universe of investment choices, and usually with much lower fees. A typical 401k, on the other hand, can feel pretty restrictive with its limited options. Now, within these accounts, you usually have a choice, traditional or Roth. The decision really just boils down to one simple question. Do you want to pay taxes now or later? If you're in a high tax bracket today, a traditional account is great because it lets you get a tax deduction now. But if you're in a lower tax bracket, like maybe early in your career, a Roth is often way better because you pay the taxes now while your rate is low, and then all your withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. Now, what's really interesting is the next account in our sequence, the Health Savings Account, or HSA. If you're eligible for one of these, it is the Swiss Army knife of investing. Seriously, it is the only account that gives you a triple tax advantage. Your money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free for medical expenses. It is an unbelievable tool for long-term wealth. So the goal is to max out these powerful accounts if you can. Following our sequence, you'd aim for that IRA limit of $7,000 first. Next, you'd contribute up to the family HSA limit of $8,550, and only after that, you go back to your 401k and start working towards its generous $23,500 limit. Only after, and I mean only after, you have maxed out every single tax-advantaged option available to you, do we finally arrive at the last step. This is the place most people want to start, but it should actually be the very last stop on your investment journey, the taxable brokerage account. So why is this last? Well, it's because of a little concept called tax drag. In a regular brokerage account, you have to pay taxes on dividends and on your profits whenever you sell. Over time, these taxes act like a constant drag on your portfolio's momentum, really slowing down its growth. And this chart just brilliantly illustrates the long-term cost of that. I mean, look at the difference here. Over 30 years, that little annual tax drag can cost you nearly $250,000 compared to letting that same money grow in a tax-advantaged account. The difference is, it's just staggering. Now, that being said, taxable accounts do have one huge advantage: flexibility. Since there are no retirement age restrictions, this is the perfect place for money you might need for big goals before retirement. Things like a down payment on a house or maybe funding an early retirement bridge until your 401k and IRA money becomes accessible. All right, we've covered a lot of ground, right? From building your foundation all the way to optimizing for taxes. So let's put it all together and review the complete optimal path for your money. Here it is, the optimal investment order. Step 1, build your emergency fund. Step 2, pay off high-interest debt. Step 3, get your full employer match. Step 4, max out your IRA. Step 5, max out your HSA. Step 6, go back and max out the rest of your 401k. And then finally, Step 7, invest in a taxable account. If you follow this sequence, you will build wealth on a rock-solid foundation. So as we finish up, the question to really ask yourself is this. Looking at your own financial strategy, have you followed this order? Is your house built on the solid rock of a firm foundation or on the quicksand of high-interest debt and misplaced priorities? Getting this sequence right is one of the most powerful things you can possibly do for your financial future.